Hi there, this is Mckenna Canty. I'm a senior at UMass Amherst and an intern with the New Music Alliance, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping the careers of Western New England artists who write original music. You're about to hear my interview with Dr. Westchesterson, the most famous rapper in Western Massachusetts. Hi, Dr. Westchesterson. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
So the listeners of the Radio Music Hour just heard your song, I'm from Western Mass, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the process of writing and making that song.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic at this point. It might even be considered an oldie. I don't know. It was a long time ago. The process, that was part two of, a duology, I guess you'd call it, of the duo of Western Mass videos. 413 is the first one. The process of that, the process started when, the first video took off, and then there were a lot of people from the Berkshires and outside of the greater Springfield area, because the first video focused mostly around Springfield, the first song. So a lot of people on social media were just like, hey, what about, Sturbridge and Stockbridge and all this. So that's what started it. And then the process was kind of like, I kind of just copied the template from the first song. And, I just kind of racked my brain. I took a drive around Western Mass. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And then, just kind of got in the studio, laid a beat down, and then do what I do,
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. I loved that video so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I know you shot like the 413 video fairly quickly. Are all of the music videos you do like that quick, or like the two? You said a day or two, if I read that right?
Yeah, the first one was it 1 day or two? No, it was 2 days. We had 2 days for the first one, and I think about 2, maybe 3 days for the second one, because I think we needed an extra day to go to the Big E and do all that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I shoot. We shoot quickly. I kind of get a shot list. I'm like an organizer. I'm one of those people who likes to organize things. So I get all my shots pretty well planned out, or at least the locations where we're going to go. And then I would chart it out on, a map and see what made sense, the route to take, but pretty much all the videos I do are shot within a few days,
Cool. Yeah, they come out really cool. I loved watching them.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know at the beginning of the pandemic, you've released some new songs, and you wrote the song "The World Needs a Doctor." So what's it like? You were being really creative while the rest of us were kind of just sitting around watching movies, and I know I just sat on the couch at the beginning. So.
Well, it was, it was freaky, right? I mean, it was like an episode of The Twilight Zone. It was weird. So I was like, everyone's going to be home and hanging out. And I mean, I'm not a huge TV person. I mean, I'd much rather be making music or doing whatever. So I was like, let's just, do something fun. And then the whole toilet paper crisis happened. And I was like, how can you not do something with that? It's hilarious. And then things got really serious, and things turned out to not be so hilarious. So, I was kind of glad that I jumped on that and snuck it in before things really started going crazy, So it was, but that was fun. And, everyone was kind of freaked out. So I figured if I could do something to just kind of make people smile for a second, it would be a cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. I know in your music, I know you like to sample some other songs too. I don't know much about sampling personally, but how do you choose which song you're going to use?
Well, so the sampling thing's interesting. I'm actually in the process of going back through all of my songs and getting rid of all the samples. Because when I started doing this, it was just for fun. I didn't I was just kind of making these songs and showing my friends, and I wasn't really doing anything with them. But, there are rules about using samples, which I probably didn't follow because I didn't think it would do anything. And then So anyways, the samples, how do I choose them? I don't know. I just, certain songs I've always loved and just kind of resonate. And then, there's a beat you like, or there's a phrase you like, and you just kind of gravitate to them. And I mean, I was really into like 80s, 90s hip hop in the early days where it was just all sample based. So, it's kind of fun. You can just like grab something that somebody else did, and then that inspires a whole new line of thinking. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know how I chose them necessarily. They just kind of, you hear something, you're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, you're like, let's grab that. So but those days are over. Yeah.
You're listening to an interview with Western Massachusetts rapper Dr. Westchesterson.
And I know you're not just a rapper. I know you can sing and you play piano, guitar, drums, bass.
Some instruments better than others, but I try. Yeah.
So when did you get into music, and like was that before you got into rap as well?
I started taking piano lessons in like 5th grade, and then my parents bought this crappy old upright piano and refinished it, and got it tuned up, and it only stayed in tune for a few days before it went back out of tune. But anyway, that's how I started. So I started with piano lessons, and then I went to Agawam High School in the Agawam school system, and they had a great music department, and my high school actually had an electronic music production class. So we had like in the 80s there were like little Tascam 4-track and 8-track cassette recorders, so you could actually do multi-tracking. So like I learned kind of early some electronic music production stuff, and we had some of the first Kurzweil synthesizers and sequencers. So I kind of was fortunate in that my high school just happened to have all this stuff, and so that's kind of how I got into it. And then I just got into my first band when I was in 6th grade, and I played the 7th grade dance, and it was like like I was a little pudgy, roly-poly kid with glasses and buck teeth, and no girls wanted to talk to me. And then after I played the dance, it was like, oh, girls are starting to talk to me, so I guess I'll do this music thing, So that's how it started. And then I just kept playing, and then, oh, man, it's a long story, but that's how it started.
Mm-hmm. Cool, yeah. That's awesome. Do you have a most exciting or maybe memorable live performance from any past years? I know not much performing this year, unfortunately, but any that stand out to you? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, geez. As Dr. Westchesterson, or any performance I've ever done?
Any performance, yeah.
Any performance. I toured with a band in the early 2000s. It was a band called RAQ, spelled R-A-Q, and we were like a jam band, kind of like, in the Fish and Grateful Dead kind of genres. And, we toured all across the country in a van with the trailer and did the whole thing. And we played some cool music festivals. I think one place we played at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, and that was a fun gig. It wasn't like the huge, we didn't have like, it wasn't the hugest crowd, but just to play some of these old historic venues that have been there forever, that was kind of cool. So yeah, I don't know if I could pick one, but just, I really like checking out different venues, so that was probably one of them.
So I know you are the most famous rapper in Western Massachusetts. Do you ever get recognized by any listeners while you're out and about?
Yeah, it happens every now and then. Yeah, definitely. I mean, right when it happened, the first video came out, it was a little more, it was in the public consciousness a little more. It happened quite a bit, but it definitely still happens every now and then, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Having a little fan interaction, that's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's weird when people come up and they'll spot you, and then they'll be like, but they're not sure if it's you, and then they kind of like walk by you and they go, under their breath, they go, hey, are you the doctor? Or, hey, doctor. And you're like, yeah. So, it's funny. It's fun.
Yeah. I'm sure without like the orange cardigan and the pipe, they might not know right away.
Yeah. When you're wearing that stuff, it's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a cool look. I like it.
Thank you. It's ever evolving.
Yes, yeah. Well, those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for talking with me this morning. I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for calling.
You just heard an interview with Western Massachusetts rapper, musician, and songwriter Dr. Westchesterson. This is Mckenna Canty signing off for the New Music Alliance, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping the careers of Western New England artists who write original music.